You know what separates a man who commands respect from one who begs for it? It's not the sharpness of his tone, or the volume of his voice. It's the silence that follows an insult. The kind of silence that makes the other person realize they've just exposed themselves, not you. See, when someone disrespects you, they're not actually attacking your character. They're revealing their own weakness. They're showing you exactly where their insecurity lives. Most people react immediately. They defend, they argue, they try to prove the insult wrong. But that's precisely what the disrespectful person wants. They want you rattled. They want you desperate to justify yourself. Because in that desperation, they find their power. But here's what they don't expect. A man who doesn't flinch. A man who looks them dead in the eye and lets their words hang in the air like smoke. No reaction. No defense. Just presence. Because the truth is, secure people don't need to insult anyone. When someone throws disrespect your way, they've already told you everything you need to know about them. Your silence becomes their mirror, and in that reflection they see exactly what they've become. Transparent, predictable, and desperate for a reaction they'll never get. Let me tell you something about disrespect that most people never understand. When someone insults you, they're not doing it because you've done something wrong. They're doing it because something inside them is broken, and they need to see you break too. It's like watching a man set fire to his own house just to prove he owns matches. The insult isn't about you. It never was. It's about them trying to drag you down to the level where they've been living their entire lives. And the moment you understand this, really understand it deep in your bones, you become untouchable. I've dealt with men who thought words were weapons. Men who believed that if they could make you angry, they could make you small. But here's what I learned sitting across the table from people far more dangerous than some fool with a loud mouth. Anger is expensive. Every time you react, you're paying a price they set. You're dancing to their music, playing their game, living in their world. And in business, in life, the man who controls the frame controls everything. So when someone disrespects you, the first thing you do is nothing. Absolutely nothing. You let their words fall into the space between you like coins drop down a well. And you listen for the echo, because that echo will tell you everything about how deep their insecurity runs. Most people panic in silence. I can't stand it. 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 They need noise, validation, some kind of reaction to confirm they exist, that they matter, that they've had an impact. So when you give them nothing, when you just look at them with the kind of calm that comes from knowing exactly who you are, something interesting happens. They start filling that silence themselves. They'll repeat the insult, maybe louder this time. They'll try a different angle. They'll look around for support from others. And with every second that passes, with every desperate attempt to get a rise out of you, they're showing everyone in the room exactly what they are. Insecure, desperate, weak. Now, I'm not saying you should never respond. There's a difference between being silent and being a doormat. But when you do respond, it needs to come from a place of complete control. Not from anger, not from hurt, not from the need to defend yourself. You respond because you choose to, not because they've forced you to. And that choice, that tiny moment of decision, that's where your power lives. I've seen men twice my size crumble under the weight of a single sentence delivered with perfect calm, because they expected a fight, and what they got was judgment. Cold, clear, undeniable judgment. Here's how it works in practice. Someone takes a shot at you. Maybe they question your intelligence, your work, your character, whatever they think will sting. The natural instinct is to correct them, to explain why they're wrong, to defend your reputation. But that's the trap. The moment you start explaining yourself, you've accepted their premise. You've agreed that their opinion matters, that their judgment has weight, that you need their approval. And once you're in that position, you've already lost. Instead, you take a breath. You let a small smile touch the corner of your mouth, not mocking, just aware. And then you say something simple, something that shifts the entire dynamic. You might say, interesting that you'd see it that way. Or maybe, if that's what you need to believe. Notice what these responses do. They don't engage with the content of the insult. They acknowledge the person's need to deliver it. And that's devastating. Because suddenly the conversation isn't about whether you're stupid or incompetent or whatever they called you. It's about why they needed to say that in the first place. You've moved the focus from defending yourself to examining them. And people hate being examined, especially when they know what that examination will reveal. It's like turning on the lights in a room where someone's been hiding in the dark. They feel exposed, vulnerable, and suddenly very aware that everyone else can see them too. The thing about insecure people is they're always performing. Every insult, every put down, every attempt to diminish you is really a performance for an audience. They're trying to establish dominance, to look strong, to be seen as someone who can't be challenged. But that performance requires your participation. If you fight back with emotion, you're playing your part perfectly. You're the weak one, the sensitive one, the one who got hurt. But if you refuse to play, if you stand there like a rock while their words break against you like waves, the performance falls apart, and everyone watching knows it. I remember a man once thought he could intimidate me by questioning my legitimacy in front of others. Thought if he could make me look like an imposter, people would stop respecting me. So he stood there, listing all the reasons why someone like me shouldn't be where I was, shouldn't have what I had. And I let him finish. Didn't interrupt, didn't argue, just watched him build his case, like a lawyer who didn't realize the jury had already left the room. When he was done, when he'd exhausted himself trying to tear me down, I looked at him and said, "Are you finished?" Just that. 3 words. And in those 3 words, he heard everything he needed to hear. That I wasn't threatened, that I wasn't even particularly interested, that his entire performance had been meaningless to me. He never tried it again. That's the power of emotional control. When you refuse to be moved by someone's disrespect, you're not just protecting yourself, you're revealing the truth about them. Because secure people don't need to insult others. They don't need to tear anyone down to feel tall. When someone comes at you with disrespect, they're broadcasting their own fears, their own inadequacies, their own sense that they're not enough. And the more you stay calm, the louder that broadcast becomes. Other people see it. They might not say anything, but they see it. They see someone desperately trying to hurt you, and they see you not being hurt. And in that moment, the power dynamic becomes crystal clear. But here's where most people make a mistake. They think staying calm means being passive, accepting the disrespect, letting it slide. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something much more active, much more powerful. I'm talking about using that calm as a weapon. When someone insults you and you don't react, that's not submission. That's dominance. You're showing them that their words don't have the power they thought they did. You're demonstrating that you exist on a different level than they do, that their attempts to drag you down can't reach you because you're simply too far above them. And that realization, that moment when they understand they can't touch you, that's when they look insecure. Because they've just proven to everyone, including themselves, that they needed to hurt you and failed. The real mastery comes when you can do this consistently, when it becomes who you are, rather than something you perform. Because once people know they can't rattle you, they stop trying. They move on to easier targets, people who will give them the reaction they crave, and you're left standing in a space of respect that you've carved out through nothing more than self-control and awareness. You become the kind of person others are careful around, not because you're aggressive or threatening, but because you're unshakable. And there's nothing more intimidating than someone who can't be moved. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this. Their words are not a reflection of you. They're a window into them. And your silence, your calm, your absolute refusal to be affected, that's not weakness. That's you holding up a mirror and making them look at what they've become. Let them see their insecurity reflected back at them. Let them feel what it's like to throw their best punch and hit nothing but air. Because that's how you win. Not by fighting, not by defending, not by proving them wrong. You win by being so secure in yourself that their opinion becomes irrelevant. And when that happens, when they realize they can't touch you, they'll look exactly like what they are. Insecure, desperate.